The Scream Kings are in no way responsible for any encounters with the paranormal, extraterrestrial abductions, eldritch insanity, hauntings, hexes, curses, demonic possessions, cryptozoological sightings, or any loss of sleep from listening to this podcast.
Happy Halloween. The Scream Kings have a very important announcement.
Indeed, Nathaniel. For this All Hallows Eve, the Scream Kings proudly present...
This is the Scream Kings podcast, and I'm NJ Gallegos, and I'm the new Scream King. Dun 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 dun!
Woo! Everyone, we have, some amazing, exciting, spooktacular news. The Scream Kings have always been two, but now we are three.
Yes, and this is something that so we recorded an episode with NJ just as a returning guest, 2 weeks ago, at the time of this recording, and we just had such an amazing time that right afterwards, Max and I just felt like we absolutely could not continue just being two Scream Kings. Like, we had found our third.
Yeah, it was kind of funny after we recorded with you, NJ. I don't know if you know the story or not.
I do not.
So, spoiler alert. Nathaniel, I don't know if it was 2 days, maybe 1 day even.
Yeah, no, it's the next morning.
You sent me a message saying, "Hey, I have something I want to discuss with you. ...
Because I love to be extra and ominous.
Absolutely, that's how we roll. And in my brain I said, he wants NJ on the show because I had a feeling. And then I was at work, later you called, and before you could even get anything out of your mouth, it was funny. I was just like, so NJ's gonna be on the show, like, permanently, right? And you're like, oh!
I'm like, okay, good. I wasn't the only one.
It was amazing. It was amazing. NJ, we love you. You bring so much to the podcast. You've only been on a few episodes, but I feel like you've really left your mark in so many ways. Thank you.
Thank you. And you know what I also enjoyed? How, like, that entire description was almost like you guys were bringing a third into your polyamorous relationship.
Honestly, it's true. Nathaniel and I have been monogamous for several years, and really we're just bored. We need to spice it up.
Well, I'm here, boys.
Not to say that polyamory is like a joke, because some of my best friends are poly and they're wonderful.
But
I
in
would
this
be a
case,
terrible. We would be a terrible couple, though. I just don't think it would work.
And an even worse throuple.
I stress out so much in my monogamous relationship. You add one or three people,
yeah.
I would crumble.
Yeah.
But
I don't
seriously,
think you guys could handle the info dumping I do on, like, World War II at 4 a.m. I don't think you can handle it.
Bring it on, because I can info dump about demons all day long.
Yeah, no, this actually just is cementing our friendship even more.
This is beautiful.
We talked a lot about it was one of those situations, NJ, where Nathaniel and I both felt like you have those friendships that come, they go, they, serve a purpose, and then they vanish. But the episodes we've shared with you, it was like we've known this person all our life. Where have they been? We discovered her. We can't let you go. So we're just honored to include you in the show.
Thank you for having me. I love that. You nailed it completely.
And also, we are two white men talking about things like feminism and women's rights. And sometimes we finish an episode and we're like, we don't know shit.
or just maybe we shouldn't be the ones talking about that.
So
not to say that there's no room for that, but it would be better if we had, I don't know, someone who actually has experienced some of these things talking about stuff.
Doesn't have
periods.
Yeah.
Doesn't have life given to them on a silver platter because we have a penis.
You guys have penises? What?
Awkward.
I have two. So NJ, before we get going too much on my double penises, tell us a little bit about you, NJ the person. Where are you from? Where are you located? What do you do with life? What do you bring?
Ooh.
I mean, and for those of you who have listened to previous episodes with NJ, or I guess previous episode, because the second episode hasn't actually dropped yet, you know, some of this might be reiterating a couple things, but you know what? That's fine, because NJ is of the light, so listen up.
Also, not everybody listens to all of our episodes, Nathaniel.
I know. That's what I was just saying. For that handful of people.
Just my mom.
Yeah, and mine.
Hi, Mom. So, when I was a wee lass, I grew up in southern Colorado on a cattle ranch. So I spent a large amount of time, like, completely unsupervised outside doing shit that I 100% should not have been doing, but that's okay. You know, one thing that is an exciting little tidbit about me is the area where I grew up, the San Luis Valley, is a hotbed of like UFO activity.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things that actually like kind of brought me around to just, you know, like the unexplained and things. You guys have heard of cow mutilations, right?
Duh.
Yeah.
So when I was probably around like 8 or so, my grandpa had found a mutilated cow in his field, and like actually seeing it completely like changed the way I think about things, because even thinking back now, it was completely just unreal. So no flies or anything would get next to the cow, right? Like they weren't landing on the cow, the dogs wouldn't get next to the cow, and then all of the like mucous membranes and the udders and the eyes were like cut out, but there was no blood, there wasn't like a burnt smell or anything. Sorry, I went really hard, really quickly with that cow mutilation story. Jesus.
This is why you're here.
Yeah. Wow, though. Yeah. But I went a little hard there. But so I've seen a cow mutilation. I like to read. I like to draw.
I like hiking and baking.
Long walks on the beach.
And I just really like stuff like that, like normal girl things, you know, not cow mutilations. I'm not good at any sports that involve a ball. Insert
Same.
your joke there, Max. Go ahead.
Same. I am also not good at any sport involves a ball, and I think everyone who's listening knows.
So I practice a lot of running because I'm ready for the zombie apocalypse at all times. And then I went to school for like a bazillion years, and now I'm an ER doctor in Illinois with my wife and 2 cats.
Your cats are adorable. What are their names?
Theodore and Cat Bane.
I think that's Nathaniel's favorite part about you.
I mean, there's so many things to choose from. It's really hard to narrow down, but that's definitely up there.
It's
So
the Star
NJ
Wars nerd, yeah. You like the
Yes.
Star Wars nerd part of me, yes.
Hell yes.
I like that.
So NJ, how did you get into horror other than, you know, performing autopsies on mutilated cows?
They wouldn't let me get close enough to the cow, unfortunately.
You had to break in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
It would have been a whole thing, yeah. I have to give my mom a lot of thanks for getting me into horror, because like she just watched horror movies with me, with really no regard as to what was actually on screen for like a toddler / 5-year-old or whatever to watch. But I think it was all right. She explained things to me. I was like, what's Regan doing with the crucifix? She's like, let's just table that for right now, and we're going to continue with the movie. So there was that, and she was a single mom, so we would have like our girl time where we would go to the local video store and just rent like whatever terrible B movie stuff was there. Like, I mean, Ghoulies, Critters, like all of that kind of stuff. And at one point we'd rented out the entire wall of horror. So it's probably one of my biggest claims to fame. I can't remember most of it, but that's fine.
It only comes up in therapy sessions while under EMDR.
Yeah. It'll be all right.
It's fine. Parents, doing the right thing.
Yeah. But I honestly, like, I think it just taught me not to be that afraid of, like, weird things like that. I'm afraid of, like, making a phone call, but I'm not afraid of, like, giant aliens sometimes.
I mean, that tracks. That tracks. Who wants to make a phone call?
Ugh.
Nobody.
So, if you had to pick your favorite horror movie and the scariest horror movie you've ever seen, what are they?
Ooh. See, favorite... I have my standard answer, which is Alien, because...
Which is the correct answer.
Right. I mean, ugh. You have everything in that. You have a kick-ass, female lead, a cat that nothing bad happens to the cat, which is huge, and one of the scariest movie monsters I think I've ever seen. Both xenomorph and, like, the egg thing. I'm not a fan of the egg thing.
The ovomorph?
Whatever it is, I don't like it.
Fair. It's real unpleasant when it opens up.
Yeah, it freaks me out. So I would give that favorite. As far as scariest, hands down, I'm gonna pick The Strangers.
There's that scene in that movie where the camera subtly just pans and the guy's standing in the background.
Ugh.
Terrifying.
Yeah, because it's realistic. Like, it could legitimately happen for no other reason other than you were home. Ugh.
Yeah, yucky.
Yeah,
Can't
home
do it.
invasion always gets to me.
Yeah, and my partner last night, as we're going to bed, is like, "Oh, Max, I watched this TikTok video about this guy who didn't answer the doorbell, and then they crashed into the house and stole thousands of dollars worth of stuff." I was like, "Oh, cool. Thank you for giving me nightmares the rest of the night."
Aw.
So if you answered the doorbell, they would just murder you?
I guess they didn't answer, so they thought nobody was home, so then the home invaders crashed in. The spookiest part is the doorbell rang today. Fortunately, it was just a window salesperson, but I sure thought I was gonna die.
And then you realize it was a window salesperson, and then you knew you were going to die.
Exactly.
Of anxiety of having to talk to a salesperson.
So this is maybe a self-gratifying question, NJ, but you are prepared for this. What drew you to Scream Kings podcast, and why do you want to be a part of our crazy little world here?
So kind of like we discussed, we are but one soul in three bodies. I'm like the third stepbrother in Step Brothers now, And you guys are just my kind of just fucked up. Like, your senses of humor, just an absolute delight. Getting to talk my favorite thing, which is horror and just info dumping whatever's inside of my brain. Amazing. And then, as you alluded to, I'm going to make a pretty delightful perspective as a queer woman.
Well, we are very excited to have you. From here on out, the Scream Kings are 3. NJ, Nathaniel, and Max.
Thank you for having me. I'm very happy.
Well, speaking of happy things, this episode is dropping on Samhain. All Hallows Eve.
Woohoo!
So, what are you guys doing for Halloween? Or have you done for Halloween this year?
I always hold my day-long scary movie marathon. Nathaniel, you were present. Hopefully, NJ, you can be there next time.
Yes, please.
We watched horror movies all day long. It was delightful. And tomorrow I have to go into work, into a clinic, which is barbaric.
Ugh.
So the scariest part of my day will be I'm entrusting my partner to put all of the things to make chili in a crock pot and not FaceTime me trying to figure it out. The poor boy does not cook, and I can already feel his anxiety from downstairs.
You monster.
Ah!
You know it's chilly. You could just start it now, and it would be fine.
That's fair.
It's a test.
It is. My beautiful daughter, though, is going to come over later in the afternoon, and we're just going to go around our little neighborhood. This is the first Halloween in our new home. We're excited to see what our neighbors can bring. She's going to be a witch, and it involves a face tattoo. So
Ooh.
she's going hard.
Yeah. Very nice.
How about you two?
Well,
Yeah, you go, Nathaniel. You go.
okay. Obviously, just going to as many Halloween parties / watching as many horror movies as I can is always a big part of my tradition. So with Halloween itself, the school I teach at always kind of goes all out for Halloween. So we have a big Halloween shindig celebration. So I'll be dressed as Frankenstein's monster the entire day, which is a lot of fun. It'll just be a good time. And then that evening, my family, we are all in a themed costume because that's what we've been able to do so far with my children. So this year we are Universal Monsters. So as I mentioned, I'm Frankenstein's monster. My wife is the Bride of Frankenstein. My daughter is the Mummy, and my son is Dracula. So we're gonna go trick-or-treating. And there's this house in my neighborhood that has turned their whole front lawn into the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, basically, and has actually coordinated with a ton of houses in the neighborhood. So there's like challenges and quests all over the neighborhood to earn pirate treasure. They did it last year and it was incredible. So I'm gonna do that again.
That sounds so much fun.
Yeah, they went hard, and it is amazing.
I love houses nowadays that still go hard for Halloween. NJ, you're based in Colorado, right?
No.
Illinois now.
I don't know if trunk or treats are a big deal out there. Do you guys have those?
Yeah, nowadays, and I didn't really know what it was, honestly.
Yeah, they suck.
I just think they're super popular nowadays, and they're kind of taking away the trick-or-treating, and it's kind of sad.
Yeah, I am vehemently opposed to trunk or treats, as is my wife.
Likewise.
So they just there's just a bunch of cars or something, and then you just walk around and get candy from these cars?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's oh, hey, there's this parking lot full of stuff, and then no one ever puts out candy at their houses because, well, we did a trunk or treat already. It's super lame.
That is lame. No, part of the magic of Halloween is trick or treating. You have to.
Yes.
Agreed.
Yeah.
NJ, what are you doing?
Well, tomorrow's not as exciting because I work night shift. But working a holiday in the ER is never not entertaining,
Yeah, especially Halloween.
Halloween it's a good one. Thanksgiving's actually the worst.
Interesting.
Yeah, a lot of families get into arguments and it's the first time they've seen grandma in a year, and they're like, oh, she looks not great, and it's yeah, she doesn't, but that's just the way she looks.
Let's take her to the ER to check.
Yeah. And I'm hi. But no, most of tomorrow will be little kids that puke their guts out because they ate an entire pail full of candy. But
Amateurs.
I know, come on. In preparation for Halloween, the missus and I have commenced a Saw marathon.
Ooh.
Yeah, and we actually saw 10 in the appropriate timeline, even though we didn't actually mean to do it, so it was just serendipity. So all I have left is Spiral.
Yeah, I've actually been watching a lot of those lately just because I realized that I'd never actually had gotten around to watching a lot of them, and I too am on Spiral.
It's super good. Like I didn't really get a chance to see it like when it came out because I think I was just like busy with school and things like that. So I saw the first like one and a half or something, but going through it now, like it's probably one of my favorite series that I've seen.
Hmm. Well,
Yeah.
that is fun. What is so? I mentioned my costume. What are y'all doing costume wise around this holiday?
So I went to a part like Chris or not a Christmas, Jesus, Halloween. Mariah Carey's already on my brain. Damn it.
All I want,
I knew it.
Oh, I just threw up in my mouth a little bit.
she's
It's okay.
coming.
She's thawing from the ice.
Damn it, Mariah Carey, just let us have our day.
When you think someone's watching you, it's her. Waiting.
With tinsel.
Watch.
I love Christmas with all that I am, but Mariah can wait until Halloween's over.
Yeah, she needs to just rest. Just rest those voice. No, so I went to a Halloween party with some people that worked at the hospital, and naturally, at one point, I congregated with the folks, and we were talking about rectal foreign bodies, as you do. But I dressed as.
Hey!
We're just gonna move on from the rectal foreign bodies to my costume, which was
A rectal foreign body.
anything's a rectal foreign body if you try hard enough. Max.
Oh, God.
But yeah, so I was Dr. Aphra from Star Wars. I don't know if you guys are as big of nerds to actually know who that is.
Come on.
Yes.
God bless you. God bless you. I knew this was the right place.
Yes. Dr. Aphra is awesome. Yeah, I immediately began to love her when I first encountered her in, I want to say, Vader comics.
Yeah. Yes.
So cool.
I feel like she would be, if I was a Star Wars character, I would be Dr. Aphra.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
I think I'd be C-3PO.
Just upset about the inconvenience all the time.
Honestly, yeah. I want to say like Obi-Wan or Luke Skywalker, you know, my boys. But I think I'd just be stressed and trying to tell everyone that safety is the first part of fun. And no one would listen.
I see it.
Man, now I'm wondering what I would be, and yeah, I'm gonna have to ponder that. But what about you, Max? Do you have a costume this year?
Yeah, so my custody situation is kind of wonky for Halloween. Both me and my ex-wife love Halloween. We love taking our daughter out, but this year it is her year to have our daughter first, which means she kind of gets dibs on the costume. So my daughter's going to be a witch, like I mentioned. And, you know, my partner and I don't really have anything that goes along with a witch, surprisingly. So we're just probably going to wear spooky shirts, which I have a billion of. The one in mind is Cthulhu sitting on a throne that says, "In God We Trust." So...
No. See, you should just like wear a morph suit and then just carry around a bunch of grimoires that you definitely have in your house.
I know. The irony there is I'm more of a witch than my daughter will ever probably know, but maybe one day.
I think if she ever learns what the whole cabinet in your house is that's full of grimoires is, she'll immediately realize, oh.
I mean, she knows it as the spooky cabinet, so that's all I need.
Yeah, it's a start. She's young.
But next year we are planning on going as the Gravity Falls characters. She loves that show. I adore that show. It's one of our favorites that we watch together. So I'm going to be Dipper Pines. She's going to be Mabel Pines. And then my fiance is going to be Seuss because he doesn't want to wear a tuxedo and be Grunkle Stan.
Very nice. Speaking of all of this costume stuff, what is the favorite costume you've ever had? Ever done?
Ooh, that's a
I-
tough one.
I mean,
Ooh, yeah.
I can start because I have an answer ready.
Is it bad that I have 3 stories? Can I share all 3 stories?
Yes.
Mark makes fun of me all the time because we'll have these things where they're like, "What's your favorite kind of food?" And I say, "Well, it's this, and this, and this, and this." So, sorry, not sorry, friends.
So are you gonna tell us the stories? Or what?
No, you said you had one ready to go, Nathaniel.
Well, and then you started going.
No, you go.
Oh,
Now I feel ashamed.
as you should. So my first year of teaching, I decided I wanted to go extra hard for Halloween, and even though this was ultimately to my own detriment because I was intensely uncomfortable, I made a really bomb Oogie Boogie costume, which of course worked out with my family because my son, who is named after Jack Skellington, was Jack Skellington, and my wife was Shock, and then we had friends who were Lock and Barrel, and then their daughters were Sally and Zero. It was freaking awesome. But yeah, it was like a full burlap costume. I filled up the hands with a bunch of like gummy worms and gummy bugs that I kept dropping on students' desks, and then it would be like all gross and covered in burlap. And yeah, I taught school as Oogie Boogie, just pouring sweat, and I regret nothing.
That's awesome.
NJ, what about you?
I gotta go with my top favorite costume was my Mad Surgeon costume.
Is this what you just posted on the
Yes.
Tweeter?
Yes. So my mom used to work as a medical transcriptionist for a clinic that also was attached to a surgery center. So she got the hookup on my costume, and I was like, but wait, I don't want to just be a doctor. I want to be like a scary doctor. And she's like, yeah, got it. Let's go. And it's like, I don't know, like a ghoulish, like blood everywhere. I look kind of like zombie-ish. My hair's all ratty. And then to top it off, she's like, honey, you carry this real butcher knife around. It has some fake blood. That's fine. Just carry it around and trick or treat and have fun.
Don't stab anybody.
Oh, I'm pretty sure she didn't tell me not to stab anybody. Like, she was just like, whatever happens, happens. Like, I was like 8. I should not have had a real butcher knife. 100%.
That's amazing.
Yeah. What about your 3 stories?
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that I have 3. Similar to Nathaniel, we had a Disney Halloween party one year, and my aunt also adores Halloween, and the two of us got together and made a handmade Jack Skellington suit with tie, and I wore a swimmer's cap and took a bath in white paint and truly became Jack Skellington.
I remember this.
I'm kind of a lerpy person, one might say. Pretty skinny.
Did you say Lurpy?
Lurpy, yes.
How do you spell that?
Lerpy.
Lurpy.
I know that because my bullies would often say it.
I'm sorry if I triggered a flashback. Go
on. So yeah, I felt like I looked the part in more ways than one. It was a great time. Another time, this wasn't necessarily Halloween, but was probably my favorite dressing up moment. Does that count?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna take it, and before you can say anything else. My brother has some pretty severe social anxiety, and I think in the year 2017, he wanted to go to Comic-Con, and I love Comic-Con. It's nerdvana, nerdgasms. It's the best place ever. I was surprised though that he wanted to go just because he has some severe social anxiety, but he said if he could wear a mask, it would help kind of distance himself from that anxiety. And the mask he wanted to wear was the Red Power Ranger mask. And so I was like, okay, cool, let's go hard. And we got the spandex suit, the authentic toys, the helmets, the morphers, the boots. We were the red and blue Power Ranger.
Oh, I'm so mad you weren't the pink Power Ranger.
Oh no, the Blue Ranger has my heart.
I need to look at that Blue Ranger.
I'll send you a picture. It was glorious. We were celebrities. We couldn't walk 5 feet without our pictures being taken. So many kids came up to us and gave us big hugs and then wanted their picture taken. It was just awesome. It was amazing. My favorite Halloween costume, back when I was a youngin', a little C-3PO, I was pretty scared of everything. Still am. I just hide it better. We went out trick-or-treating one year and I wanted to be a vampire, but I was so scared of trick-or-treating that I cried so much that my eye makeup started to run. And I just remember sitting in the van and my dad saying, "You're Dracula. Dracula's not supposed to cry." And I'm sure I can unpack this during therapy and whatnot, but he then took me home because I didn't want to trick or treat anymore, and we ended up watching the original Psycho together. And it's one of these core memories where I started to fall in love with the idea of horror. Maybe not trick or treating and being in the moment, but it was just me and my dad. We were alone watching this spooky movie. I don't know, it kind of a foundational memory for me.
I like that.
So those are my 3.
Those are good ones.
Okay.
I looked up the Blue Power Ranger. I don't really see it, but like, send me the ideal picture of him.
Oh my goodness. Okay, get ready to have a life change.
Will do.
All right, friends. Nathaniel, anything else we need to share with the world?
I don't think there's anything else we really need to cover. Do you have anything else, NJ?
I don't, other than thank you for having me and allowing me to enter into this polyamorous podcasting relationship we now have.
Do you want to say the final words to send us off?
Do you know the final words?
No.
Stay spooky.
Ooh, I can do that. Yeah, all right. Stay spooky.
Stay spooky.
Stay spooky, friends.
And remember, Dracula doesn't cry.